में है ना, इनका स्क्रीन में जाए, विंडो में ना, यहाँ पे क्लिक करो, यहाँ तो क्लिक हो गया, शेयर इसको बंद करो, मिनिमाइज हो गया ये वाला क्लोज, इसको तो रिकॉर्डिंग तो चल ही रहा। हाँ प्रेजेंटेशन हो गया, मिनिमाइज करके खोल लो। अच्छा पीपीटी खोलना, अच्छा पेयरिंग के बाद मिनिमाइज करो, पीपीटी क्लास 1 में जाओ, ये ना हाँ हाँ मैं भी एक्सपर्ट हो गया। यूनिट ये मिल गया, प्रोसेसेस एजुकेशन, ये एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स, डबल क्लिक करना है क्या? अच्छा खोलने के लिए डबल क्लिक करना पड़ता है। I am trying to share it. Can you see that? हो गया रे? इसको
Yes, we can see.
Yeah, you can see the slides. Yeah. Okay. चलेगा ना? Slides are visible. Yeah.
Yes,
Hello.
visible.
Okay. So I am starting.
Yes, sir. Visible.
What I said is, hey, प्रकाश, अगर इसमें तो एग्जिट होना है, एस्केप आएगा तो फिर उसमें आएंगे ना। हाँ फिर वापस इसमें, फिर वो सारा स्लाइड है। ओके फ्रेंड्स, इफ इट इज विजिबल, okay, हाँ क्या करना है, चलो बाद में करें। If it is visible, I will start it. As I said, it is the second unit of the block 1. The title is Management of Educational Systems. Okay. In the first unit, we discussed the management principles in general. Management principles in general. Now we are focusing on any country who have educational systems. How these educational systems are managed. I think in our country, whether it is Nigeria, whether it is Mauritius, whether it is Malawi, we have educational systems, how these things are managed. That's what the focus of this particular unit. Okay, let us see the structure. In this particular unit, of course, apart from the introduction and objectives, we will be talking about understanding the educational systems, what are the educational systems are, and understanding the education systems, we have a separate concept. I will explain it little later. What is the relationship between education and social system, between education and government and various other agencies, like that. That's the section 2.3, and then 2.4, education system and its structure. So your country, you have the basic education, secondary, higher education. So that's in the same way every country has. So we'll touch upon that. And then the last section of this particular unit, we'll talk about management of education and the question of quality. Of course, every country has some quality parameters or quality benchmarks. I think whether it is India, whether it is Malawi, whether it is Mauritius, Nigeria, Guyana, anything. Every country has some mechanisms, the governmental mechanisms. That we'll talk about that. So how these agencies plan and coordinate, how the control mechanisms, and what are the issues involved in quality. That's how this unit will touch upon all these components. Let us look at the introduction. I said that the previous unit, we talked about the management principle in general. Okay, planning, controlling, motivating, leading, organizing, structuring, all those things are the management principle. And then how those principles are applicable to the educational systems we'll talk. By middle of the 20th century, educational management has gained a Earlier, education management in education is not seen as a very major specialized area, but actually the moment you call it a management, you say that it is a industry management or business houses management. Management involves the what last session we talked about the planning and management is nothing but it's a risk taking, challenges facing, maximizing the profits by producing the goods, etc. But when it comes to the education management, that's what from the industrial or business organization, education management, a new area, particularly this is not very popular even in India. Education management, of course, it is done in one way or the other, but popularity wise, it was in the United States where education management as a specialized subject under the discipline of education was there. And particularly in the United States of America, the education institutions, unlike developing countries like yours or mine, where the education systems are mostly in the public sector or public funded governmental sector rather than private. But there, in the case of America, it is a private sector, most of the institution. And education management gained, as said, that 60s, 70s, 80s. I think it is spreaded progressive. I think secondly, education itself is spreading phenomenally. No more privilege of a few. Education spreading. Earlier, there was not much demand in the education, but when the people in our country or people in my country, they realize the education, the moment if you get education, what role it play in my life and my children's life. That's why education getting a demand from the various sections of the society. So that's where the education is a universal society aiming at universal primary education. I think that you know that universal primary education to be achieved in the across the world by 2015, but it did not happen. But that is the extended, and then the international organizations which are concerned with the primary education, and they are giving the different date. So once you complete this unit, you should be able to, what are the objectives? That's what education system and its organization. What are the features of education system? We will talk. Analyze various components. What are the various components involved in the system of education in any country? The relationship of government and their agencies. We will talk about that. Explain the structure of education and relationship with various other elements in that structure. And lastly, we will analyze and identify specific issues that are relevant to the management of education. These are the 5-6 broad objectives we will be achieving the moment we complete. Let us come back to the understanding the education system and its understanding the education system and its organization. University is an example of a system considered any whether it is a school or college or university, you will have a university is a system, college is a system, school is a system. Each of this system will have various subsystems. In the college, you have a teacher, we have academics. Academic classes will be taught by the teachers, and the administration will take care of admission and examination, and finance will take the financial aspects, as sports will take the sports activities. Like various subsystems in any system will constitute the university, which itself is a complex organization. Education system comprises typically the government. Yes, I think every country government runs the educational system, and along with the government, regulatory agencies also will be there, and both many regulatory agencies are also the part of the governmental systems. Like in any developing country, we have a school education separate the organization. We have a college organization, universities, university grants commission. These are all the regulatory agencies which are affiliated to the any governmental system, schools or college. And not the least, I think you have they are not part of it, but parent associations will be there, and professional organizations like teachers organization, like non-teachers organizations also will be interest group. There are interest group have taken in education. It is a very highly complex education management is in that way highly complex and multi-dimensional that we call the education system. I think that's what precisely we want to tell is very complex system is education. Education as a social system. As you all know, education is a pupil-oriented activity. Yes, if education is involved in a pupil-oriented activity, yeah, I think it is also about trying to find awareness to questions like the reason. What education provides the answers to the purpose of your living, purpose of my living, purposes of our living. What is the purpose? Why you are so? If you get education, you will get answer. If you don't get education, still you may get answer, but not exactly the way the answer should be. So you may get a philosophical answer. Why you are living, man? Okay, I was born, so I'm living. So like that. So that's not that. That the education teaches you the real purpose of living, and education equip you with the certain knowledge, certain skills, so that you can participate in the societal activities more efficiently and effectively. That is the basic purpose of education. And then go ultimately, it's the development of society is important. Development of the society will come from the education, and then the goal of development should be human welfare. So naturally, if I get education, I will become a good human being and contribute into the society's development and the other human beings' development. Unlike what happened merely economic growth is terms of measured in terms of GDP and capital income, but real development will talk about the human welfare. That's what is precisely. And then, what is the relationship between education and government? I think a very close relation between education and the government. Mm, uh, Education as a social system deeply affects the lives of people. That's what we already talked about it. And the role of government in the that's what I said. The most of the countries, particularly the developing countries, the government education systems are in the domain of the government. I think governments manage whether it is school education, whether it is higher education, governments manage that. That's the precise. It is not that what is the management? It's not government gives money to colleges, money to universities. It's not only that. Government go not only allocation of it goes beyond that. What is that beyond that? Education. Suppose you need the people to run the colleges. You need the faculty to run the schools. So naturally, the government responsibility is to recruit the people and then to run the colleges in a expected manner. What is that expected manner? The expected manner is the schools, colleges, university run on the principles of the government, which will directly related to the country's development. I think that's it. I think that's the precisely the purpose of the education. And then governmental responsibility not only comes that countries goals are achieved by the education system, countries development is ensured by the educational system, and what to teach and what not to teach. I think that's what teaching and curriculum, particularly the school level in any country, including India. I can say that maybe the same be the case with your country as well. School level, what should be taught and what should not be taught is curriculum is accordingly developed by the government. I think in our case also we have the union government or central government where the broader things will be there, but we have the provincial governments where they also will formulate the school curriculum, etc. I think that's how the things. And once the government formulate the curriculum, and all the schools in the country, all the schools in the particular province are expected to follow that. That's how they will go about it. And then staff recruitment, I have already structured. I have already explained education structure. What should be the educational structure? Suppose in the province level, what should be the structure? Who is responsible for what? Same is the case at the province level. Who at the same at the country level or the union central government level, who should be responsible for what? This is how. Then governmental other priorities will be access to all the sections, access to not only the affluent sections, access to the marginalized sections of the society, whether the education is reaching them. So you may say that I have developed a good education in the capital of the country, my country, Delhi. It's not only you are developing the the good education in the Nigeria capital. It's not only that Mauritius capital, but education has to reach all the corners of the country. That's why access to the education and the cost also. Suppose if it is a governmental funded institutions, cost will be affordable by all the section. If you leave it to the private institution, they have their own fee structure. So the private institution fee structure, as a common man, I may not be affordable. It is not affordable to me. So this is how the issues of access, cost, and quality. The quality also matters. The government has a certain mechanism to ensure the quality. Otherwise, one institution may be maintaining the quality, other institution not maintaining. Who will take care of? That's all. And the performance assessment and review. Okay, government has given the funds. Government has facilitated your school, facilitated my school, facilitated your college, facilitated my college, but they have to review it. Is both these colleges funded by government? Is it performing? Is it achieving? And review if there are bottlenecks. What are they? How to overcome those bottlenecks, etc. have to be seen. Performance and review, and that's where the things of that kind will go. And then resources, yes, adequate resources have to be provided by the government. And then after the role of the government in education and the government role, I will go into the government and other agencies within the government, how to run the education effectively, what are the other agencies, and what should be the collaboration between the government and agencies. The school system, many countries are influenced, shaped, and managed by the government policies. Yes, that's what I already told. Governments have played a major role in establishing. Government has played a major role in establishing and maintaining schools in the country. Yes, you all know that. Governments play a crucial role in the school systems, and most countries, as I have already said, Ministry of Education, education directorates, regional and provincial and district education officers and authorities, local authorities in the local level, school inspectors, all are responsibility for the overseeing the education system. Our government at the higher level keep monitoring and supervising the things are going accordingly or not. This is how the systems have to be seen. And then when it comes to the higher education, now we talked about the previous slide, school education. Higher education, there are a few examples. I think generally higher education, universities and colleges running by the government. Yes, I think most of the, if you talk about India, we have a large network of colleges and university. We have almost around 30,000 colleges and 1,000 plus universities, and majority of these institutions are run by the government, and now quite a few institutions are in the private sector, also run by the private people and private agencies. And universities have traditionally been known self-governing institutions. That's what we call. What self-governing means that not okay. Government may be funding the institutions, but they should not interfere in running the university. That's what the self-governing means. Any the government should be there. It should be perceived as a interference in the autonomy of the university. That's how universities are seen as a autonomous institutions in that sense. Autonomy is often invoked to keep governments at a distance, yeah, because universities or colleges will be run by the executive council of a university or the board of management, where the various people from different walks of life are the members. They will take the appropriate decisions which are needed. In India also, we have the University Grants Commission, which is the apex body to oversee the higher education system for the coordinating the activities, etc. Hope you people are able to see the slides. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You are able to hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Proceed. Now we have another regulatory agency. One is the UGC, University Grants Commission for the General Higher Education, and we have the other one, that is the All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE, is charged with the similar responsibilities like UGC. UGC for the General Higher Education, AICTE is for Technical Education. We have almost quite a few thousands of technical institutions or engineering colleges in the country. So those engineering colleges or a professional colleges come under the domain of the AICTE, that AICTE regulates their standards, promote them. And then same is the case we have another regulatory agency, NCT, National Council of Teacher Education, which is responsible for maintaining the quality and standards in the area of teacher education, the training of teachers, etc. So this is how the various regulatory agencies in different areas, and how, of course, these agencies are a part of government, but naturally they operate independently, but they are funded by the government, and naturally government has a say in the overall functioning of the regulatory agencies as well. So if UGC is not going in the right direction, if AICT is not going in the right direction, it is the government which takes the why you are not going, so they can act. Otherwise, the things will go in a different way. So this is the, and now we talked about the education and government relation, and government with other agencies, and now governments and university, what should be the relation between these government and university. Universities are the highest temples of the learning. We call it the highest temples of learning in India. I don't know, in our country also we may be calling it. Universities are the highest institutions which create knowledge, preserve knowledge, and disseminate knowledge. That's the major functions of any university. Intellectual guardians of the society. That's what we say, that naturally they create knowledge. So guardians of the society, intellectual guardians of the society, the universities are seen by that. And then the produce the human beings who will gain the knowledge on the contemporary issues of the society, naturally, and humanity in general. So this is how the responsibility of the university. The freedom of the university, I've already talked about it. University has a full autonomy of the freedom to take their own decision. If university says that I want to teach this particular program, this particular course, because in the society needs that, so that decision can be, not that the government should give a dictation to them, they can do on their own. So that's what the autonomy comes. It's not that at the influence of the government only they should take. No, they are free to take a decision. And second, governments at times may force the universities sometime, but generally by using their power, governmental power on the institution. But ultimately, the universities are to run by them, their bodies, their decision-making bodies, and then they that will be the strength of any university. Okay. Now the other relation is education, and what is the relationship with the market. I think this is a earlier education and market, when you were young, when I was young, nobody talked about the what education has to do with the market. Market may go up, market may go down, but how it has to, what it has a relation with that of the education. So naturally, but things are changing. The countries are changing and societies are changing, and then with increasing competition within our country, within my country, between our countries, there is a competition, economic competition. Naturally, when these things started, economic competition is increasing. So naturally, the markets are dictating. Earlier it was not the case, but now what the markets say, that I want a graduates in this particular area. I don't want a graduate from the sociology. I want a graduate in the computer. I want a great graduates in physics, not some other subject. So the market started dictating. Even the children also, the students also see that I don't want to study this course. I may not be having the potential to get the job. So let me get a course which has a potential in the job market. That's how the markets started dictating, and particularly the higher education. Even the school education also influenced by the market, not to such an extent, but certainly higher education is influenced, technical education is influenced, medical education is influenced by that type of thing. That's where now, as I said, that competition is increasing, the borders. Yes. Yeah, I think the theory argued that, as in other industries, there was a movement of capital, people, and series. This movement of people is what we used to see in the industries, but now that's happening even in the education sector. That's what the World Trade Organization, endless rounds of discussions came out with the idea that education is a service sector industry. They said that education is a service industry. That's what WTO said. The who support that organization, support that theory of the WTO industry. There was a movement of capital across the borders. Therefore, it qualified to be a trading industry. So now they say that because the education is going from one country to other. So now what we are doing is I am teaching you from India to the various countries. So naturally, I am crossing my borders. I am teaching you. You are listening me. You are seeking a degree from me. So this thing. So naturally, which was not the case here. Now we can say that it is also education has become an industry, a trading industry. Now, this proposal is still on the table. Members of the WTO are yet to be accepted. Of course, the WTO. There is a debate on that whether it is whether you can call education as a trading industry or not. I think that debate is there. World Trade Organization, international level, they have to take a call on that issue. Education institution, the management of educational systems. I think as I already talked, the canvas is too large. Education systems canvas is too large. Yes. Yeah. The players are too many. Yeah. I think when it comes to the education systems, not about very many players involved. In the society is involved, public is involved, parents are involved, teachers, and management, and the students. Well, this is a very complex system. The range and variety of issues are too complex. Yes, what? A simplistic assumptions about the environment in which education across the world operate is not that simple to say that education systems can run like that. Education system and structure, yeah, I think education system in any country operate at a different level, whether it is 2 levels, whether it is 3 levels. I think one is the meta system operating mainly at the national level, the country level. So in my country, as I explained that we have the Ministry of Education. Under that, we have various agencies, the UGC, AICT. I think even managed by the central federal government, and then other issues, national policies are coordinated by the federal government or the central government, and then when it comes to the provincial government, they also have a role in the education systems. They do play a role. Institution system, yes, from the union government, federal government, central government, coming to the provincial government, then comes to the local authorities, the local agencies, etc., the local agencies, and then the ultimately comes to the institutional systems. Institution concern prescribing the courses. Suppose my college what to teach or not to teach is decided by the my college authorities. In my university, what to teach and is the responsibility to be decided by the agencies of the college. That's how the thing. Institutional concept prescribing courses, with appointing teachers, etc., done by the institutional level. This is how. And then, of course, at various levels, basic education. I think in our country also, whether you call it as a basic education or some countries call it as a private education. I think that's private education covering children from the age group of this 3 to, in some cases it is a 4 years plus are enrolled. Some cases it is 5 years. Vary from country to country. But whatever the case, it is called as a basic education or preschool education, primary education of 5 years, and if you add 3 more years, that is a middle education, etc. That slightly may vary from country to country. It is at this stage that spark the creativity. Actually, when the children, whether 3 or 4 or 5 years to 12 years, or where they will be 8th standard, 8th grade, or 8th standard, or 9th standard, the creativity sparks in the creativity to life, bring access to knowledge becomes a reality. That's the basic education. And then secondary education. Once the child completes the 6 or 7 years of schooling, so he will be entering into the 8 years of schooling, then he will be entering the secondary education, where you call young people should be able to decide their future. Yeah, I think this is where the 10 years, 10th, in India, it is a 10th grade. Once he or she completes the student 10th grade, so naturally they will be entering into the 11th and 12th grades of the school system. That's what the 11th and 12th, what you call the after 10th grades, 10th class, 11th and 12th. This is a turning point in the secondary education, turning point in the child's career, professional educational career, because they are grown up now. They have almost 15 years or 16 years acquired a knowledge up to that, and then what area they want to spend, what area they want to branch off, whether I should go with the humanities, whether I go with the sciences, social sciences, mathematics, or medical sciences, engineering. This is the crucial decisions which these children at the +2 level has to take it. That's why the secondary education in any country becomes the crucial for the children's point of view as well as the country's socio-economic development point of view. Then comes the higher education. Of course, we have already talked about functions of higher education are creating the knowledge, disseminating the knowledge through the research activities that is carried out by the university. Teaching is carried out, extension activities are carried out by the continuing education is provided by the university. And of course, university activities, university education is a direct bearing on the development of the country. I think that's where the teaching. Higher education institutions provide higher education institutions provide the human resources for various sectors. Suppose economic sector needs the people who are specialized in the economic matters and the economics department, and people who commerce departments provide the graduates to the commerce and industry, and the political science provides the higher education system, good leaders to the country, political leaders, and the science and technology to the scientific laboratories to man. This is how higher education provides the manpower to the various sectors. Higher education is been under severe pressure. Yeah, this is what you can see. The relevance of what is taught today, I think that's what many higher education systems in various countries say. I hope the same is the case with you in our country. What we feel at the higher education in India, we feel that yes. Somebody wants to ask something.
Yeah, I want to ask a question. I'm Ahmed Muhammad.
Please ask.
My question is that the basic education, the age is 3 to 5 years. Is it in every country or in India alone?
No, it varies. It varies from country to country.
Okay, it varies from country to country.
Yeah, my dear, let me complete it. We'll have a discussion. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let me complete this unit. We'll talk.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let me complete it. What I am telling is, higher education and providing that higher education is crucial, and higher education is under pressure. Because why it is under pressure? As you know that higher education network of India is almost one of the first or second largest network in the world, after United States and India and the China, these are the higher education largest networks. And in India, we have almost 30,000 colleges, and then 1,000 plus universities, and quite a few professional institutions. It is a huge network catering to almost millions and millions of students, catering to the many different areas. And that is, even now we have a largest network, but still after graduating from the university, if I don't get the job, what does it mean? It means that the education what acquired in the university and what I am looking for the job and employer is not taking me, means that he or she feel that I am not competent enough to carry out the employer's tasks and activities. So that's what we call the mismatch between what is taught and what is needed for the employment. And then I think this is an important thing. That must be the case with quite a few countries. That will be countering this. To overcome this mismatch between what is taught and what is needed by the employer, I think countries are revising their policies and the management of education and the question of quality. As I've already said in the first unit also, planning and coordination, we have already talked about that. Here in the case, we talked about the education industry sector in the first unit. Planning and coordination goes hand in hand, and organization and control also is and ultimately the accountability. What is the accountability of various sections or various systems in an organization or within the education system? And the issue of quality, the quality issue is important one. What we say, the quality lies in the eyes of the beholder. So what is quality to you may not be the same thing to me. What is quality to me may not be the same thing to that particular lady. So this is how the quality is has a many definitions, but ultimately you and may differ, but there are certain benchmarks for the quality in every sector, including the education. And then what we call is the quality of education is both a technical issue and ethical. Technical issue of quality in education is concerned with its products and its processes. It's what type of graduates I am producing through my university. That's the product, graduates. And what are the processes that I follow? What process? I have a good teachers, I have good curriculum, I have good teaching methods. That's all the called the processes. So quality has seen both the process point of view and products. What is the ethical issue in this? Ethical issue of quality of education is concerned with the values and attitudes that the system seeks to promote. Yeah, this is the ethical issue. What you want to teach to your students in our country, what values, what vision of that, what culture you want to develop. This is the ethical issue of the education. One is technical. Many definitions of quality. Quality is, as I said, some people say that quality is nothing but fitness for the purpose. Is this it is fit into the for the purpose which is created? What complicated question of quality is how do you determine the quality of any object? That's the thing. That is the definition. I think. Yeah. Okay, friends. I think that's where I have completed the second unit, education system. I think one of the colleague has asked the question, what is the basic structure, particularly basic education? Is it 3 years? I think in our country earlier, the pre-primary education or the nursery education is a little different, a little away from the education system. That's a so the parents who are interested to send a play school, that's different. But actually, those students who have completed 5 years of age actually taken into a formal school. That is for a first standard. 5 years plus is taken as a into the first standard. So that's how from first standard, second standard, third and fourth and fifth is considered as a primary education. First to fifth standards is considered a primary education. Sixth, seventh, they are seen as a middle, and then eighth, sixth, seventh, eighth is a middle level, and then ninth and tenth is in a secondary, and plus 11th and 12th is seen as a 11th grade and 12th seen as a senior secondary education. That's how. Now we have a latest new policy in the country, new education policy 2020. In the year 2020, the country has, the government has come out with a policy. There we thought that there first time the government brought the play school education, that's nursery education also, into the fold of the primary education. So naturally now to the government responsibility, sir, to start with not 5 years, 4 years itself. So enroll them. Plus after 4 plus, earlier it was a 5 plus to class 1. So 4 plus they will take into the nursery or the kindergarten, then move to the first year. That's what is called the colleague who asked that question. Is it clear? Yeah. So any other questions so far?
I have a question.
Yeah, Marius?
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the government and its agencies.
So,
you have given us an example of India, the education and its agencies, isn't it? And you've given us the example of India. Like in Zambia, the agencies are different. Now, supposing maybe a question came in an exam, then you ask us maybe to describe briefly on the education and the agencies. Then we start giving examples of our countries like Zambia instead of India.
Yeah, Maris, very good question, Maris. Yes,
Thank you.
I think the material is, we have given a few examples from other countries as well, but mainly focusing on Indian examples. You said it correctly. But suppose I ask you to write education and government and various agencies. That is the question is, so naturally you can say Indian, the central government or union government is there, which is running the education in the country, and the Ministry of Education is the key one. Along with the Ministry of Education, there is the University Grants Commission, there is the ACT for technical education, there is NCT. So you will talk like that. In the same way, in the country of Zambia, you are relating. In the country of Zambia, we have a government which is responsible this, ministry which is responsible whatever. So you can, even if the material is not there, but you are relating it to the Indian example and your country's example, whosoever is the. Am I clear? Maris? Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Good.
It's
So prepare. So give the right information, because I don't know about Zambia. So you cannot write anything, but you give the right information, the Zambian education system and the relevant example, that will be accepted. At least for my course, I accepted any relevant example which you are giving from your country, relating it to the concept what I explained. Okay? Any other question? Otherwise, I will move. Mohammed Usman has raised a hand. Where are you, Usman?
Yeah, yes, sir. Well done, sir, for this presentation. So the example of the agencies you have just mentioned, we have similar these agencies in Nigeria, such as the one AICTE. We have something like that in Nigeria, NTI, National Nigerian Teachers Institutes, and the NCTE. But the MBT, we have National Board for Technical Education in Nigeria. So
you can write.
we have similar these agencies with India.
Yes, sure.
Yes,
Sure.
there are a lot, sir. Yeah.
So while you are talking about NCTE of India, you can say that this is the agency which is playing the role in Nigeria. Related. And you are talking about the University Grants Commission in India, you say that this is the agency which is taking the higher education, general higher education in the Nigeria. Related. Okay? Yeah. So let me move to the next one. Okay, if there are no more questions on this, let me move to the next one. Present now and tag screen. Yeah. Can you see the slide? Hello?
Not yet, sir.
No.
Okay. Let me. Is it coming now?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, it has not come yet. Okay, let me go back. Yeah. So anything you want to ask in between? Present now. Entire screen. Click here.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Dr. Jagnanda Prasad ARD from RC Dehradun.
हाँ जयदम्बा पूछिए
Sir,
क्या हुआ?
sir, I'm saying that if you are presenting any PPT, then don't share the entire screen, rather send a particular window.
Let me see whether I can do
Otherwise,
that.
it causes problems, sir.
What
Share a
problems?
window.
What problems? Yeah.
Uh,
चलो,
sir,
you
I'm
want
saying
to
that don't share the
don't share
entire
entire
screen,
screen. एक विंडो खोलो चलो अभी
share a window only.
तो पहले तो डेस्कटॉप पे जाना नहीं अभी खोलो अभी प्रेजेंट करो विंडो खोलो ये विंडो खोलो अभी ये प्रेजेंटेशन ये है हाँ ये है ऑलरेडी हाँ क्लिक करो डबल क्लिक सिंगल हाँ शेयरिंग अब वो फोन से आ गया कैन यू सी द स्लाइड
No, sir, it is not there. Now it is coming. Now it's coming.
No, I
the complete screen is coming, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it's working.
But Jagamba wanted to reduce it to a window, isn't it?
No, sir, it is all right. Oh, I said that there are three options. One is entire screen, one is a window. So now you have done rightly, sir. It is window now. It is okay, sir.
It is window.
Yes.
Okay. Please, you can see it now. Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we have completed the 2 units of the block 1. Now I am entering into the 3rd unit. That's the managing education institution. So far in the 2nd unit, we talked about the managing education systems at a different country level, province level, and the various agencies. Now, what is the management is involved in a specific institution, whether it is a school, whether it is a college, or whether it's a university. I think that's where we are focusing it now. Education institution management is different to that of a management of a business organization or management of an industry. Am I correct? You all agree with me. Let us move that how it is different to that of the. Okay, yeah. In this unit we are going to talk about the institutional management. What are the things involved in institutional, various social systems theory? What is the theory involved in the social system theory? What are the mission and goals of the institution? What is the governance issues involved in the institution? Educational community, and then actual academic management. What are the programs you are offering? What is the curriculum you are developing? What are the support services you have in your institution? What is the linkage between your institution to the rest of the society? And then what are we have administrative support system in our college, in our school, in our university? What is the institution building? What efforts you have taken? So this is how this unit will be covering all these aspects. Okay. Now the introduction for this unit is the core of education system is the large number of as I said it, in India we have a large network of almost thousands of hello, yes. आप कौन बोल रहे हैं? जर्सी मैडम, अंजू, हाँ जी, आपको क्या चाहिए? मैं अभी क्लास में हूँ, मैं थोड़ी देर में बात करता हूँ आपसे. ठीक है. Okay, friends. As I said it, education, large number of network. India has the highest network of education systems, whether it is number of schools or number of colleges or number of universities. As I said, particularly higher education network, India has the largest network in the world. I think with 30,000 colleges, 1,000 universities, and then few thousands of professional institutions. In the schools, is it almost quite a few millions of schools are there. So this is how the large network, and we call them institutions. Yeah, as I said it in the beginning, we don't call them educational organization. We call them educational institution because organization has a connotation related to more of a business type. I think the moment you call it a educational institution, then it more related to that of the related to that of the social purpose. Why you are running an institution? If you ask me, I say I want to contribute to society. That's my social purpose. That's why we call them as institution. Social purpose in education has a great deal to do with managed functions organized. The moment the business organization has a profit as a motto, the social purpose organization motto is not a business. Motto is to spread the message. That is the basic difference to achieve the purpose. Okay, that's basic difference between yeah. So once you complete this unit, what are the objectives you are going to achieve is analyze and identify the critical areas of management of any. What are the crucial areas of any school or a college or university which are important to manage in a proper way? I think that's the moment you understand that one, what are the crucial areas of the one, and then explain the interrelationship between various areas of management. So, though we have especially different areas in each institution, each area has a relation or dependent upon the other areas. That we will talk about it. What are the interrelation between those two things? Yeah, that's one. Management of explain the interrelationship, identify the challenges in the management of institutions. What are the major challenges involved, whether it is managing the college or managing the school or managing the university. We'll talk about that and explore the ways of meeting those, how to overcome those challenges. We will talk about this, and then we'll come to the after that. Yeah, institutional management, education institutions have a number of features that distinguish from the business that I have already talked. How the education institution is different to the industrial or business organization. Education institution is teaching and learning are the primary functions of any education institution. Teaching is not just a transmission of information or even knowledge; it has a multi-dimensional. It's not simply that you as a teacher taught and then me as a student learned. It's much more complex. It's beyond this teaching and learning. It's a multi-dimensional. What is that? We'll talk about that. And then learning is an activity associated with several uncertainties. Yes, those who are teaching the school or colleges, you know that learning is okay. Simply you taught, it doesn't mean that I learned as a student. It depends on my level of comprehension, my level of understanding, my level of assimilation. I think that's different. But as a teacher, you have not addressed my ability and level of my this thing. I may not be able to do that. So naturally, the learning is associated with several uncertainties. And then your students are heterogeneous. Suppose a distance education or online teaching, what we are doing is a heterogeneous students. You may be from the teaching profession, somebody may be from the governmental sector, somebody from the industry sector. So it is a heterogeneous. So naturally, when I address the heterogeneous groups like this, it is a challenge to me as a teacher. It is a challenge to you as a learner as well. The learning process and the outcomes of learning involve a degree of unpredictability. Though I want that each one of you should get a good learning from my teaching and get a good grade, but there are quite a few buts. Unpredictability is there. Curriculum changes involve constant modification. I think that's what I said in the beginning, the earlier unit. And the society is changing, things are changing, our education institutions have to change. Your curriculum, what you are teaching for the last decades or few decades, have to undergo a change. If that doesn't happen, that's what I thought in the context of universities, the mismatch between what is taught in the universities and what employer is looking for. So that's how the curriculum has to undergo a change according to the competitive society, according to the major changes that's happening in the society. Environmental changes, especially technological, that's what I talked about. Yeah. And then what is the social system theory? Especially systems are what we call broadly categorized systems into two. One is an open system, another one is a closed system. And open system theory says significant can understand institutional life. The protagonists of the social system they argue that organizations are subject to environment. Yes. Any organization which is responding to the socio-economic, technological changes and other environmental pressures and responding to those pressures is called as an open system. I think that's what is the definition of open system. Particularly education institutions are changing according to the pressures of the society, about the needs of the environmental needs, environmental pressures. Though you are responding, you are changing your curriculum, you are changing your teaching methods, you are changing your assessment procedure. This is what is called any institution response to the changing conditions is called the open system. If any system says, I will not change, I will remain as it, that cannot be called an open system. That's what are the closed systems of that. That's what. But otherwise, large extent, any social system or social institutions are the open systems which are prone to that. Universities have come under enormous social pressure in the last, guess what? University education has to undergo a change. They are changing, but still there is a lot of way, there is a long way to go. Yeah. They have to open up institutions, expand their enrollment, even college or schools, teach what is relevant. I think that's what. You have been teaching something and you want to continue with that, choice is yours. Choice is yours. You as a college, your university wants to teach the same old thing what you have been teaching for the last 40, 50 years. You have a right. But as a student, I am sure that if I seek the degree what you have been teaching with a earlier curriculum, I may not get a job. So naturally, I look for an institution who is teaching with a societal relevant curriculum, relevant programs. I will go for that. That's how the relevance between the two things are changing and that. And then, of course, mission and goals. Every institution will have a mission. What is a mission? Mission is a shared organization, leadership, etc. We have a suggest leaders in all sectors articulating their vision. Suppose in the education sector, your government says this, my education vision is this, my country has to be, after 5 years, I want to see the country should be in this level. So that's the vision of the country, vision of the institution, vision of the university. I think to achieve that vision, naturally, you have to have a certain mission statement. Mission statement will come from the vision, and then to achieve that vision and mission, and you have to have a clear goals. Goals are nothing but specific targets which have to achieve in a 5 years, 3 years, 7 years, like that. So these three concepts, vision, mission, and goals, are often used synonymously, but they have a clear differences. These concepts have different theoretical foundation, and it is necessary to have some clarity, which we have already talked. Yeah. Now the governance. What is the governance? We have already talked. National government lays the policies at the national level. Earlier also I discussed it. Regulators, we know that regulatory bodies like UGC, ICT, they make a policies. If UGC policies for general higher education and AICT prepare the policies for the technical education, NCTE prepares the policies for the teacher education, like that. A medical council, which will take the policies for the medical education, like that. And then, of course, they make policies. Actually, based on that policies, you enroll the students and teach them to do the programs which they are enrolled. And education institutions are are perceived to be self-governed. Yes, that's what I said, that universities are largely at the self-governed with a minimal interference from the government and outside world. They may consult, that's the difference. Consulting university, consulting the government is different. But government interfering the university in its administration is different. Okay, I hope you got the difference what I want to communicate. Education institution is not an organization. I think but I already talked about that. It's not a motive of any educational institution is not a profit. It is a cause. It is a social cause. Secondly, it serves a social purpose. I have already talked about.
Excuse me,
Early
please.
teaching is essentially a solitary activity of the teacher. Yeah.
The previous. Sorry.
What else?
Yeah. I'm a little bit doubt about the last point you mentioned in the previous slide that university are self-governance
This
governing
slide you are talking about
institutions.
it?
I want you to. Yeah, the last point.
Perceived to be self-governing
Can you shed
institutions.
more light, please?
Yeah, self-governing means, that's what I said. If the government or any other outside agency is interfering in my administration of the university as my CEO of my university, that is pressure coming from outside. So that's not called a self-government. Government is dictating terms to the university. No, self-governing institution means I have my decision-making authority in the university. That's the board of management or the board of directors or executive council or executive board, which take the decisions or policies relevant to the institution. That's why the self-governing institutions are run by their own policies. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Self-governing institution. That's what. So without the interference from the outside agencies, your institution is run by your own bodies, academic bodies and administrative bodies, and making the policies and running the institution is got self-governing. Okay, let's move to the next one.
Go ahead.
Education institution is not a business-oriented profit. I have already explained. Affecting the lives of people. Yes, education, it serves social purpose. Teaching is essentially solitary activity. The teacher, substantial autonomy. Teacher has autonomy. Suppose you enter your class. Now I am talking to you. I am talking to you not that somebody said, Murthy, you should speak only this, not to speak. No, I have a freedom to speak the things which are needed. Freedom to speak, it doesn't mean that I say I abuse everybody else in the society. No, that's not the freedom. I have a freedom as a teacher to teach what is supposed to be taught to you in the manner I want to teach. I want to give examples. I want to substantiate the point. That's what is the autonomy of the teacher is all about. Educational community. Education institution is a community comprised of teachers, administrators. That's what I said. Education is involved too many players, too many stakeholders. I think within the school and outside also, community also has a say in our institution. Community say that, sir, your institution is not running properly. They have a right to say because you are a part of the community. So that's where the institution running has several dimensions or complexity. They come together to help educate students and one another. Sometimes community comes and tries to help also the schools, particularly school level. The school doesn't have much funds. You don't have a proper school building. The community says that, okay, sir, we'll give a school building constructed to you. So this is how the relation between the institution and the community. Each constituent of this larger community has its own interest and concern, some of which may often conflict. Okay, when you have too many stakeholders, their interest may different. Their interest may come, suppose at times parents and community interest may be different to that of institution. That will be a clash, but it has to be addressed. If the community and the parents are also meant to the welfare of the institution, welfare of the students of the institution, they should not go with a conflicting idea. They have to sort it out. Okay, and to do all these things, we need a good leadership. I think about anticipating the situations, initiating appropriate steps. Yeah, anything. Ultimately, what is a good institution or what is a not good institution depends on what type of leader we have. A good leader with a less resources run the school very better. Even a not so good leader with all the resources may not be able to run the. That's how the basic difference comes. Now we talked about the various issues involved in the institution and its relation with the government, its relation with the community, its relation with the parents. Now we got exactly what is it? Another area in the management of the institution or the school or college is academic management is the core. Ultimately, core function of any institution is academic management. What type of teaching, what type of programs you are offering to the students, what type of learning techniques you are providing, what type of learning methods you follow, perform these functions. And I have been telling to you, the good programs means what? The programs which you offer to your institution has a relevance to the present day society, contemporary society. Your programs have relevance to the present day job market. Your programs are relevant to the society's welfare, government welfare. So these are the relevance of the programs of the study, and the institution has to design and develop the curriculum accordingly, establish a good instructional systems. So you have a good program, but your instructional system is not good, that may not be effective. You have a good instructional system, good practices, learning outcomes. You have a clear learning outcomes for each subject. The teachers have responsibility to achieve those learning outcomes of each subject. And then once the learning outcomes are achieved, those have to be assessed, and then only the certification. A good leadership is about anticipating these situations, initiating appropriate steps, prepare every constituent. I think this is basically academic management is a crucial. If you ask me, that there are various. We have so far talked about the institution relation with the community, relation with the society, relation with the government, relation with the. Now the academic arrangement, another area I'm talking about. So various areas of institute management. If you ask me, and I will talk about a few more other areas later. Out of all this, academic management is a crucial and a key one in the institutional management. Of course, good programs, relevant programs, what I have been telling. Yeah, academic programs offered by any education institution will be consistent. Yes, I think, as I said in the few minutes back, every institution has its vision, its mission, its goals. When I offer a programs, those programs in my institution have to be inconsistent with the vision statement, the mission statement, and the goals to be. If your vision is to provide a good education, you develop a programs accordingly. If your vision is that to prepare the graduates for the employer market, you develop accordingly the program. Your institution vision is to create a good human beings or a good political leaders to the society, you create a programs of that kind. That's where the relation between the programs and your institutional mission, vision statement, and the goal. At the school level, there would be generally a common mission. And actually, what we are talking more emphasis on the college and higher education. School level, many governments have a common curriculum, common national curriculum, and most schools adopt, maybe with a little changes. The purpose of this core curriculum to ensure the measure of uniformity in the standards of learning outcomes across schools within the country. So that's the basic difference between the school level curriculum and the universities. Universities, every university has its autonomy, has right to develop their own curriculum. But when it comes to the school level, large extent the curriculum is framed at the national level by the national government or other agencies. Yeah, at the unity level, there is a. Well, that's what I said. University has a flexibility to develop its the program, to offer development curricula, and well-established process in designing development of curricula, and their revision also. The universities have autonomy to revise periodically the curriculum and relook at the curriculum. Peer review and feedback from employers also is sought by the universities, so that the suppose I am offering a program, employer-oriented program. After 5 years, I want to review it. I will take the opinion of the feedback of the students, feedback of the parents, feedback of the employers also. I will ask employers, my graduates whom you are recruiting, are they fulfilling your requirements? Are they fulfilling your expectation? If they say yes, that is good. If they say no, why it is so? That feedback will help in revising the curriculum. recent developments in knowledge and diverse ways of providing major challenges into curriculum. Yes, across the academic world in the world, academic communities in the world, I think the challenges is many because of the application of these things, development of knowledge, things are changing. So naturally, curriculum developers, each institution, each university face challenges to address that. That's the real challenge. What to be included, what not to be included is not an easy decision to take. Two other important issues required to be settled: instructional systems and student tests. Yeah, we talked about programs, curriculum, its relevance to the job market, relevance to the society needs, etc. After that, you have a good curriculum. After that, what instructional system, what pedagogical systems you are following? I think that you have a good teachers, we have a good teaching methods. Those are the things what we call instructional design. And the student test, how you assess your student. Nowadays, it has become a challenge. Assessment has become a more challenge than earlier. Assessment of the learning outcomes is an integral component of any instructional system. Yeah. How you teach, what you teach, and how you assess it is important. Educationists therefore argue that a satisfactory system of assessment should involve continuous evaluation. That's what they say. It's not evaluation at the end of a semester or end of a year. We have to be assessment should be continuous. Continuous means I have completed one particular topic or a chapter. Let me assess the students' learning of that particular chapter. Then only I move to the second, I move to the next. That's what the continuous evaluation or assessment of that kind, which has a rigorous process. At the management of any institute, students are fully informed about the following. What are there? You have to give information to the students, what content you are going to provide, what are the facilities the institution is offering, and what are the combination of courses you are offering. I think these are, unless you disseminate this information, students may not be able to understand about your institution, understand about your if as a student I want to join if I don't know about your institution, why should I join? I know about other institution, I go for. That's how information dissemination by the concerned institution is important. After that, academic management, what so far I discussed, and then the student services. What type of services you are providing to the students once they join? That's also equally important. Nowadays, it has become more. Whether you have a good library, whether you have a good playground, whether you have good co-curricular activities. So all these things have to be informed. Whether you have a hostel facilities, whether you have a scholarship facilities, whether you have a counseling services, whether you have a financial scheme, a loan schemes or part-time jobs. So this is the information which helps me as a learner. Okay, this particular university or college has a good support services to the student. I will prefer to joining them. So that's where the support services should be disseminated to the student, which will help them to take a judgment decision to join your institution or not. And then the linkages and interface. As I said, that institution alone cannot isolate. Education institution operate in the broader social system, broader social society. So it's integral part of any society. So it cannot operate in isolation. It has to have a linkages with the government. It has to have a linkages with the industry. It has to have a linkages with the other agencies involved. That's why the linkages and interface with other agencies are important. If the institution says that I don't want to have any connect with the industry, particularly the higher education institution cannot operate without its linkages with other agencies. Significant linkage that education system to maintain is with the community. Yes, I already said. Organizing systems, other organized systems, I think whether it is a primary education, school education, primary education also have to have a liaison with the local communities, local authorities. I think that's where the higher level the linkages become more complex and more extensive. Okay, and now so far we talked about the administrative management, and so far we talked about the linkages with other agencies. Now we are talking about the administrative support system. What administrative support systems are needed in an institution, and how these administrative institutions support systems are managed by the Administrative support. Of course, what are the administrative support services? The good policies, good ideas. I think a leader of institution gives a good ideas, and those ideas have to be translated or executed by the various plans. That's what is the support for. A good university vice chancellor, a good principal of a college have plenty of ideas. Of course, that is the purpose. So this college principal has a very good vision, very good mission, and that he has to translate that vision into mission during his time into good plans to be executed. I think that's what we. As a part of the public sector, universities nevertheless have to conduct their efforts within the settled route. Yeah, university autonomy doesn't mean that they will go in a different direction. They cannot go in an ad hoc manner. They cannot go into their impose their whimsical tendencies of the university heads. No, every university will have a rules. Every university will have a set of acts, statutes, and ordinances. All those things. Any university vice chancellor or authority who is coming as a head of the institution have to follow the established rules of the institution of a college. And academics are not happy with this situation in this recent. Naturally, if any leader is not following the rules set for the university, they are going in their own ad hoc and high-handed version, it will be resisted. It will be resisted. I think that's how by the public, it will be resisted by your own teachers. And academics versus bureaucrats controversy has become part of university governance almost in every country. Yeah, there is a difference in maybe the same case within our countries as well. Next thing. After the administrative management, we have another important area is the personnel. Okay, I think what is important is personnel means you need a good faculty. Okay, you have a if you have a good programs but you don't have a good faculty, naturally you cannot bring the expected results. So appointing a good faculty, recruitment procedures and advertisement procedures, recruitment procedures, and training the faculty and making them to work. That's what we call the personnel management. Not only the teacher, you need a support staff also. You need administrative staff. You need a finance staff. You need a sports people. You need a librarians. So you have to recruit the right people. That's what it's called the personnel management. The human capital has been the most productive wealth of any educational institutions. A good leader is one who attracts the best minds, whether academics or non-teaching or non-academic staff. How you attract them, how you recruit them, how you train them. I think that's where the institutional personnel management is involved. After the personnel management, you have an infrastructure management. What is the infrastructure management? For any good institution, you need a building, if not a sophisticated five-star building type, but you need a good buildings, a good classrooms, a good library with a latest books and latest soft copies available. And you need a good laboratories for the science base. You need equipment. You need a furniture. You need a health center. You need a hostel facility, recreation. I think this, if institution doesn't have all those things, actually you may achieve something, but you cannot achieve what you expected to achieve. That's where the role of infrastructure in the institution. And after the infrastructure management, you have a financial management. What is the financial management? Education is traditionally the domain of governments, but this was primarily because education had no profit. And therefore, but now the private institutions, private sector is also entering that. Naturally, education therefore depend on public spending, supplemented to limited by religious institutions, public charities, all those things. The major component in the expenditure of an education is the teaching cost. I think naturally, whether it is a school or college, the maximum expenditure is for the salaries of the teacher and salaries of the non-teaching staff. I think this is the and the ratio between a teacher student, how many students a teacher, one teacher in the school level. One teacher can teach 30 students, 40 students, but not hundreds of students in the classroom scenario. So that's where the financial management is a very important one. So how you manage the finances. The second major enrollment is the administrative cost. First is the salaries, administration. Again, without administrative support, without a good people to conduct the examination, staff is needed. And the other element is the teaching materials, whether you have good books, good journals, and the maintenance of your infrastructure, maintenance of your, all these are the cost issues, how you manage them. The good leader is one, he manages all these things effectively. Effectively. I think that's what it is. Efficiently, both. Mm. At the level of public declines, search for alternative sources of funding has become indicated. Actually, the governmental grants are coming down. That's particularly in the higher education sector in India. Higher education, public funded institutions are facing. Government is reducing its grant. They want that institutions should develop their own resources. It's not easy, but it's a challenge. But most of the institutions are facing this resource crunch. I think when I am not getting a grant, so naturally as a head of the institute, what I see, let me recover the total cost from the students means the student fee will be higher. The student will be hiked. So naturally, that's only the one of the way left in front of me as an institutional head. Extending the facilities of the institutions, their expertise, all those issues, and then collaboration and networking among institutions, sharing intellectual resources, and the organization of professional development programs. All these things matter under the financial management. So these are the issues which one has to take care. And then institution building, how the institutions are built. Institution building as a process essentially implies management of the development of institution. Yeah, that's what it is. How you manage your institution. It's not only routine management on day-to-day basis, but institution has to be developed on a long-term basis also. That's what it. The Venice definition of development. A complex educational strategy intended to changes the beliefs, attitude, values, so that they can better adapt to the new technologies market. That's what exactly what you have been talking about so far. I think last 1 hour plus is reflected in this definition of Warren Bennis. An organization's culture is the aggregate of its ways of doing things here. Every organization, or every education institution has their own culture. We say that this institution is good, the other institution is also good, but they don't have the culture or the impression of the ex institution. So this is how they compare, students compare, public compare, parents compare. Yeah, education and its environment, another important area. There are several changes taking place in the environment which we have been talking about. And as the economy grows, productive sectors expand, demand for new and different sectors. That's what I have already told you. The things are changing in the society. The skills required, the knowledge systems required by the students are also changing. So those changes have to be taken care by the institution if you want to produce the relevant graduates. I don't want to say beyond that. Organizational diagnosis, well, yes, every organization, suppose you are a head of it, you have to see that. What are the challenges you are facing? How your institution is writing? What are the strengths of your institution? What are the weaknesses of your institution? What are the opportunities and what are the threats to you? So this is what we call the SWOT analysis in the management culture, management jargon. And every institution has to do the analysis of this kind. If you do that, naturally you will address your weak areas, you will address what opportunities you have, what threats you are having as an institution. This is what periodical evaluation of such things is important. And institution leadership, we have already talked a lot, and the leader is the one, I think, who keeps the vision of the institution, the vision, the mission, he keeps to absorb the new changes that is happening in the society. I think that's where. If a leader doesn't want to change his mission or the vision statement according to the changing scenarios, you will be over a period of time you will be irrelevant. So that's institutional leadership is a challenging one to take in the country's education. Not that people are at the helm of or no. Okay, people say that every leader is prepared, is made. No, leaders are not born. Leaders are made. Leaders are coming from your own society. So that's how. And if that is the case, what are the attributes leadership and education institution need? Encouraging participation, respect, Suppose if you ask me that I want to produce a good leader to the society, right, my institution, I have to follow the curriculum accordingly. I have to offer the programs accordingly. What is that? Encourage in the institution participation. In the classroom, you see that the students are participating in every activity. Students are participating in the discussion. Students are participating in the co-curricular activity. People are participating in the sports and recreational activity. Respect and recognition. You respect the colleagues, you respect the other students, you respect the teachers, you respect the elderly. That's where you develop a good leader. Shared vision and what is the shared vision of this institution? What is the goal? I think you inculcate that. Support innovation, experimentation. This once you develop these things, you will develop a good leaders for the society. Okay, I think it is aggregate of these attributes. Whatever I said, so many aggregate of these attributes, various levels in an institution that defines its values and principles and also make the organizational culture. If you follow these attributes in the institution and defines its values and principles and also makes for itself. I think you all agree with me. We say that the graduates coming from this institution, so institutions are good because that institution has a good program, that institution has a good principle, that institution has a good organizational culture. That's how the things are labeled. I think, yes, let me stop there. And that's with the completion of the third unit of the, yeah, have completed very important from the teaching learning point of view, from the assessment examination point of view, managing the education institutions, what I talked. I think you all know that you are all matured learners, you are all qualified learners. So what are the institutions? You have seen the schools in our country, you have seen the colleges in the country, you have seen the universities in our country. What I said is equally applicable not only Indian institution, any institution in any country of the world. Yes, friends, any questions? No questions. Good. So what does it mean? So everything.
I have a question.
Pardon?
I have a question, sir. Yes, sir.
Marius,
Thank
you ask
you.
a question? Yeah.
Yes. Looking at this unity, that is where the assignment is coming from. Is it the critical areas? So now my question is
What question? You read it fully, that question? Marius, you read that question
pertaining
fully?
to the assignment on the same unit. There's an assignment pertaining to the same unit. Yes.
You read the question. I'm asking you to read the question fully.
Let me just look for it. If I can. Maybe someone can read the
mic.
question.
Yeah.
I'm searching for the
What
question.
happened to you? Okay. Okay. Maybe I will let me say what are the various areas, important areas in the management of academic institution. I think you justify which area is important. You justify. I said so many areas. I said that institutional mission, institutional vision, and academic management. I talked about administrative management. I talked about the linkages. I talked about the financial management. I talked about the institutional diagnosis, organization diagnosis, and review also. So these are all many areas I taught. Now the question is, according to you as a student of MDE or PGDDE, which area is, you explain all the areas briefly. That's the question must be talking about. You explain all the areas briefly. Out of all the areas, which area is important according to you? Somebody say that financial management is important area. Somebody say that infrastructure is important area. Somebody say no, it is academic management is important. If you say that, you justify that. If you say that it is a financial management is area, you justify why it is so. If you say that infrastructure is, that's how the question is.
Okay? Thank you very much, sir. Point taken.
Thank you. No, Nora has raised a hand. Where are you? Nora, Sabo, Aruna. Nora,
Hello, sir.
Tell. Yeah,
Are you with me?
Noora. What do you want to ask? I'm not able to listen.
The assignment. Is it type 1 or 100?
I'm not able. Can anybody listen to him carefully?
My question is that the assignment, is it type or 100?
Maybe Nura, I'm not able to listen to you. Can you write in a chat box so that I can respond to you? You write a chat box, okay? Then Yusuf Ibrahim, you have raised a hand. Yusuf, where are you? Okay, he's raised a hand but not coming out with a question. No, Yusuf is not there. Okay, any other question from anybody else? Okay, if you don't have a question, I think I will ask or give a question or give a small assignment to you all. I have covered the 3 units so far in the block 1. Okay. Out of the 3 units, you read the unit of your choice. You may read unit 1, she may read unit 2, she may read unit 3, like that. But whatever you read, you prepare a small brief. You prepare a small brief by understanding, and relate it to your country's situation. Am I clear in my task? I have asked you, out of the 3 units I explained so far, take any one. I'm not insisting that you read any one unit, you go through it.
Excuse me, sir.
And prepare a small, maybe 400 words or a bullet points. What are the major things you got from that unit? You note down in a bullet form and relate them to your own country situation. Is it okay?
It is, sir.
Yeah.
Now the question is, after we are done with the same assignment which you have given us, a small assignment, we have to submit.
You can do that as well. You can discuss that.
Okay.
The assignment point of view also, you do that. So I will leave the choice to you and discuss that.
Okay.
Maybe you have a little drawback. If you prepare a good assignment and present it, other students will catch those ideas, think it over. In a lighter way, I am telling them.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please come again. The questions, sir. The questions.
Usman, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell. Yes, you ask your question, Muhammad. You are not asking?
Sir, the question, please repeat the question, sir. Please.
Question. What I said is, out of the 3 units which I explained so far, you take any unit, unit 1, unit 2, or unit 3 of the first block, go through it, read it, comprehend it, and note down the main points of that. Number 1. Main points, what you got, main point. And anywhere, if you can relate those points to your country's situation, relate. Okay?
Okay, so when are you submitting the assignment? This one. Yes, this assignment you are giving us. When are you submitting it? The next lecture.
You prepare it. You prepare that assignment. Other the assignment which is already given to you is a separate thing. This is a classroom-based task I am giving to you. Okay? Take this as an activity or a task rather than an assignment which is a formal one.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay? Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Naja.
Yes, sir.
Where are you?
I'm here, sir. Sir, do we get to present it in the next class?
Yeah, maybe my next class is when? Let me see that. I will tell you precisely. 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah, Najato, my next session, my class is on 16th February. 16th, okay?
Okay, sir.
Now, today is 10th, so you have 5-6 days. You can go through the units, you prepare that. So I will see that. So whether I taught effectively or not, whether you got it really in, to your simulation, I can check from my side and from your side both. Is it okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So anything else? Yeah. So yeah, Yusuf Ibrahim, you raised a hand. Where are you?
Hello, sir.
Yusuf. Yeah, Yusuf, tell.
Sir,
Najatu, you are, one second. Najatu, you are from which country?
Nigeria, sir.
Nigeria. Okay.
Yes.
Nigeria. Who are the colleagues from now? Anybody? Any colleague from National Open University of Nigeria? No. Nobody.
Yes, I'm from Nigeria, sir.
You are from Nigeria. Najatu is from Nigeria.
Yes.
I am
yes.
asking anyone from the National Open University of Nigeria. No.
No, actually, sir.
Okay, no. Okay, because you have a National Open University like IGNO in our country. I don't know, at least you are aware of it? You are aware of it, Najatu? You are aware of it? In our country, you have an open university like IGNO, Indira Gandhi National Open University. You have an open university in our country. Do you aware of it, Usman? You know that?
Yes, sir. We also have
Okay, I want to hear. Yeah, that's right. That's a very good university. I know many colleagues from there who have joined our programs, who have interacted with them. So this is why I asked that question. Yeah. Yusuf, you go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, you spoke on the need of some uniformity in standard of learning outcomes across school within a country. So now when we look at it on the international perspectives, when we look at it on the international perspective, there's an increased movement across borders seeking for education by students, especially from developing countries to developed countries. So are there some measures of uniformity in standard of learning outcomes across international borders? So that the knowledge acquired by students should be relevant to his particular society. That's my question, sir.
Maybe I could not get exactly. Anybody can repeat what Yusuf said?
Sir, can I repeat myself?
You repeat, Yusuf, repeat.
Sir, I said you speak on the need of some measure of uniformity in standards of learning outcomes across schools within a country. So now I want us to look at the issue on the international perspectives, where there is an increase in movement across borders seeking for education by students. So the question here is that, are there some measure of uniformity in standard of the learning outcomes across the countries, so that the knowledge someone acquired from a different country should be relevant to his society?
Yusuf, I got it. Okay. I know that it's a very right question by Yusuf. Very, very tough question. Very tough. You see, he asked that the cross-border education and international this thing, students are moving from one country to the other country. Naturally, what should be the standards or the parameters for this? When you cannot have a uniform parameters within the institution in your country, how can you determine the parameters for the other universities in the other country? In Nigeria, you are from Nigeria, Yusuf?
Yes, sir.
How many universities are there?
I cannot actually tell you the number of universities now.
There are many.
But we have many.
There are many. So
Yes.
all those institutions are not at the same standard. There are good ones, there are excellent ones, there are few below. So it is there. Within the country, you have said, how can you compare it or equate with the rest of? So only the yardstick for your question is, if you ask me, okay, I cannot dictate the standards to any other country. I cannot impose my, but only one thing is, why is Oxford University is popular in the world? Why Harvard is popular in the world? Why Cambridge is popular in the world? They maintain the standards. They maintain the standards and they displayed the standards and they prove their standards. That is the answer. So I hope I have answered your question, Yusuf. The
Yes, sir.
standard,
Thank you, sir.
you create a benchmark, you maintain it, you produce it, rest of the world is at your feet. Okay? And then
Thank you, sir.
Noora has asked, Noora, I got it now. You have written the chat box. The assignment is the typing or handwriting. Your handwriting, okay. I think maybe your handwriting is good. You can write with your hand. Otherwise, you type it and send it. So that will be good. The choice is yours. Suppose if your handwriting is not good, you take a photo and then upload it. That may not be visible clearly. All those issues will come. So it's better to go for a typing. I will not say that you only type it. You write it, but write in a legible, clearly. Yeah. Anybody else? Anas, you are telling something?
No, sir.
No. Okay, you switch off your mic. Yeah. Switch off your mic. Switch off your mic. It's giving a
Okay, sir.
noise. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. I think if there are no questions to the task what I have given is there. The out of 3 units, you will take one, read it carefully. Not a very long task. Highlight or point out the major important learning points you have got it from that unit and try to relate it with your country. It's a very simple task. Once you do that, we will try to see it in the next session of mine, and then we will have it. And apart from that, so I will touch upon the 4th unit of this block in the next class. Plus, we will switch over to the block 2 as well. Block number 2. Block 1 will be completed with the 4th unit, and then we'll move to the block 2. We'll talk about the higher education systems, exclusively focusing the higher education systems in the block 2. Okay, so try to read. I know that you have your own responsibilities at your end, job, family responsibilities, and preparing the assignments for various courses. It will not be easy to read everything, but at least whenever you find some time, try to go through the material relaxed way. So you will highlight. The moment you go through the material, what I am teaching, what my other colleagues are teaching, it will be easy to relate. That's what. Okay. So with that, if you don't have anything, let me. So as far as the assignment of this course is concerned, one question is, I think, the academic management, areas of academic management is one question. I think I will also go through the assignments. So next class we'll discuss it if needed. Each question we can discuss it. Today I could not get the place my hand in the assignment, but next class I will bring that. But who said that? Maris or somebody has already said it is the areas of important areas in the institutional management. I think that's the question. I think that must have asked, the question must have demanded at least 800 words. Am I correct? You write your response in 800 words or such something. There must be the word limit also given in that. We will talk about in the next class. Okay? Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next class, unless you have anything specific to ask.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Somebody, MS?
Yes.
Yeah. You are asking something? No.
Yes, I'm asking something.
Tell.
Yeah, it's just the same request that we have been making. Is it possible for us to find these PPT presentations?
I think the PPTs, and not only my PPTs, even what I am talking, everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. Those recorded things will be uploaded to the platform which you are with. So you just make a reference to the regional center Dehradun where these recordings are available, or you search yourself in the platform, you will get the recordings of not only this session, all other course sessions as well.
All right, thank you. Sure.
These are all recorded. It's there, and recording is going on. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. See you all in my next class. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye, sir.
Have a nice
thank
day.
you.
Yusuf has a still question.
No, sir. No, sir. Bye, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
bye.